Down the lane, lays it up and in. Anthony Johnson.
First shot of the game for College of Charleston. And Willis Hall. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Drew right side. The high arcing three for the tie. Good! With 2.1 to go.
Willis drives straight to the basket. Layup and good! Overtime!
Welcome to our second edition of Hang Time with the Cougars, where we catch up with some of the former College of Charleston basketball greats. Of course, we started out with Andrew Godlock and Anthony Johnson. And, well, we're going to keep the train moving with guys that are, well, involved in the NBA, as myself and the head coach of the Cougars, Earl Grant, joining us here on Hang Time with the Cougars. And today, our special guest, Willis Hall and Cameron Johnson, two guys that probably could have been playing in the NFL right now if they played college football. Instead, they played basketball at the College of Charleston. And Willis, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Not much. I can't complain. Just navigating this whole deal like everyone else is. But I can't complain. Everything's been good. Staying healthy and staying safe.
Good to see you. And, of course, Cam Johnson, also Cam and Willis, both with the San Antonio Spurs. Cam, how's it going, man?
Man, I'm living the dream. I don't have too many bad days nowadays. So.
All right. Well, guys, let's get into it. Coach Grant is with us. And, Coach, I know, Cam, we'll start out with you, because when I think of Coach Grant and the type of player that he loves is that junkyard dog type of player. And I think, well, I understand, Cam, at least from my knowledge, you're like the original JYD for Coach Grant. Let's reflect back on your time at the college. Just talk about your time there here in the Holy City and being a part of this CFC basketball program.
My time at CFC, it was always a family atmosphere. Coach Grant took us in, and we were all his kids, pretty much, and it made me want to play hard for him. So I could take that, the original JYD of the Coach Grant era. Yeah, and I took pride in it. You know, I kind of tried to absorb his energy because he's a big energy guy. So, yeah, I just love playing for him. Being in Charleston, it felt like a family atmosphere. Playing basketball was just a bonus. So I really enjoyed my 4 years there.
You know, also when I think about guys that kind of just got it done, those guys that just do a little bit of everything, Willis, you come to mind as well, because you were probably one of the most unselfish players that we had maybe in CFC history in terms of doing just a little bit of everything. And while often, Willis, you were somewhat undersized, they couldn't really match your heart. You really did a job for this Charleston basketball program. Your thoughts about, you know, your time here in Charleston?
Man, you're going to get me going. I mean, it's no secret. I loved being a Cougar. I loved the College of Charleston. I enjoyed every bit of my 4 years playing and 5 years total, because obviously I had the 1 year where I had to sit out. But, I mean, looking back, nothing but great memories, all the way from the top to the bottom, dealing with all the Cougar Club people, to the coaches, to the additional staff, all the other sports. A lot of good friends and a lot of great memories. So I've got nothing but fond memories of my time there. That's for sure.
Coach Grant, is it safe to say that when you're looking for somewhat of ambassadors, guys that you can throw names out when you're on the road recruiting, these two gentlemen, Coach, have got to be two of the top ones that come to the top of your mind when promoting College of Charleston basketball?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I use them a lot. You know, I tell kids all the time that anything's possible at the College of Charleston. You know, we got guys in law school. We got guys in Medical University of South Carolina. You know, guys coaching in the NBA, guys playing in the NBA. You know, so we take a lot of pride in all of our Cougar Nation and the success that they have.
So let's talk a little bit about Cam Johnson, someone you inherited who was already here. And like we just talked about, he was kind of the original JYD. It seemed like, Coach, no matter what you needed or you needed that tough defensive stop, Cam Johnson, number 12, was always the guy that seemed to come through.
Well, you know, let me say this. You know, obviously, I was very fortunate when I got there that Cam and some of those guys, Joe Cheeley, were there. And just very fortunate. that they were willing to hang in there, love College of Charleston enough to stick with the program, even though I didn't recruit those guys. And so I was Cam's only coach because I had him for 4 years. But in terms of them just having that loyalty to each other in the program and buying into what I was trying to do as a first-time head coach, I'll never forget that group. Obviously, there's a good thing when you can find kids who football and basketball. I know Cam was a big-time football player, so he had a unique toughness about him. And I never recruited Willis, but I saw him at AAU when he was at Charlotte Christian. And I know people were saying, I think he's going to go play football at Duke. And so, that was the rumor on the circuit. And so, I know them football guys carry around their lunch pail. And I think that's a great fit for College of Charleston. Tough guys that don't mind rolling their sleeves up and going to work. But Cam, he's been one of my favorite guys I ever coached in my career. And, I'm looking for another one like him now.
All right, so Willis, let's go back to you. I'm going to put you kind of somewhat on the spot. Willis,
well, before you move on, Everett, I noticed there's been a lot of talk about Cam's defense, and there wasn't anything said about me stopping anybody. I'm just scribbling my notes here, but I just want to make sure that that I'm aware of that.
All right, you called me on that one. So, all right, fair enough, Willis, fair enough. But now it'll be my turn to flip it on you. Willis, do you remember the first time I met you?
It was when we came down for the Piggly Wiggly Classic, and you called Mark Byington to let him know that we were coming to campus, and they had absolutely no idea.
Coach, this is the funny story, Coach Grant. So we're at the Round Ball Christmas tournament, which is still not going on anymore. But Willis's high school was there, and Charlotte Christian was there. The guy was talking. He said, "Yeah, our players, Willis Halls, I think either committed or thinking about going to CSC." So I met Willis, real nice guy, and so have a good time over there. And I called Mark Byington, who was I think the acting coach then. And I said, "Hey, Coach B, Willis Hall is coming by." He was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah, Willis Hall from Charlotte Christian is coming by." He was like, "No, he's not." I'm like, "He's coming by, so you need to be ready." And lo and behold,
Coach Grant will know that trick from the good old Sean Brown.
just to kind of pop.
Let me just say this. I did see Willis play. It's storming out here, guys, so I had to move into my house, my patio office for a while, and I didn't want you to hear all that rain and things of that nature. But I remember Willis in high school. I watched him. I think I was at the time I was at Clemson, and he was playing AAU, man, and he was a tough guy. Like I said, those guys carry around a lunch pail, and I never had the chance to coach him. But I just seeing him and Cam working together, it makes sense. It makes sense. Those guys working together, I'm sure they have some fierce, pickup games with the staff. And so I just can imagine, seeing those guys on a day-to-day basis, the intensity they bring, it's really a beautiful thing to see. And never had a chance to coach Willis, but, he was one of my type of guys I would have loved to coach as well.
All right, so Willis, when you guys play Golden State, do you ever go up to Steph and say, I broke your scoring record in high school? Do you kind of throw that in his face from time to time just as a friendly reminder?
Absolutely not.
You just kind of keep it to yourself.
I don't want MVP trophies thrown in my face. Unanimous.
Gotcha. That's a good point. But let's talk about your football playing, because as Coach just mentioned, both of you guys had an opportunity to play football in college. So, Willis, what was the deciding factor? Why did you come to CSC to play basketball instead of playing football at Duke?
Just the love of the game. When it got down to it and they started talking about all the things that you had to do as a football player and all the extra stuff, when I was 18 years old, that made absolutely zero sense, because really all I wanted to do was go play pickup somewhere. So obviously, looking back, I know I could have done it. But at the time, basketball obviously it's my passion. It's what I've chosen to do. And that was really the deciding factor. And then once it came down to it, how are you going to choose a better spot than the College of Charleston to go do it at? I mean, you could be swimming at 8:30 in the morning on the beach and then make your 9 o'clock class. Like it's that simple. I mean, what else are you going to do? So that was the thing for me. It was once I decided I was going to play basketball, it was a pretty easy decision.
And of course, Cam, for you had some SEC football offers. And for those who don't know, Cam, you were ranked the second best quarterback in the state of Georgia. Your high school senior year, you would have been the best quarterback, but it was just this other guy named, I think it was like Deshaun Watson, that was a little bit ahead, just a little bit ahead of you. So why for you, Cam, was it a situation of playing basketball at Charleston instead of playing football in the SEC?
You know what? In high school, if you asked me if I was going to play basketball in college, I would have told you were crazy. Honestly, when it came down to it, I think it was divine intervention. It was a gut feeling I had. And when it came down to actually going to visit, and then like kind of alluding to what Willis said, you go to the College of Charleston, you see the city, you meet the people, you feel the atmosphere, and it just feels like you can't choose anything else. It feels like that's where you need to be. So, leading up to, I had no idea I wanted to play basketball and collegiately. But once I got there, I think this is a testament to Joe Cheeley. He was one of the deciding factors that made me go, because it wasn't about the place, but the people in the place. And, 6 years later, when I'm 2 years removed from college, it definitely resonates with me a lot that I made the right decision.
All right, so Willis, I want to ask you, you've had a lot of big moments. Obviously, you were National Player of the Year, Player of the Week during your career at Charleston. But back on February the 19th, and that Bracket Buster game against Vermont, Willis, 22 points. You could not be stopped that day. What is it about those days where you just seem to be in the zone and nothing can stop you from excelling on the floor?
I don't know. That's just one of those days, like you were saying, some days it was called on me to do the fun and good-looking stuff, and other days it was rebounding and, trying to stop who I was guarding. I don't know. I feel very fortunate. I just tried to work hard and play with a passion and try to show on the floor just how much I loved being out there. Because I can also remember times when all I did was set screens for Godlock, and I was completely fine with that because that probably meant we were going to win. Because we all know once he got a hot hand, we were probably going to win the basketball game, and that's really all that mattered to me. That's funny you mentioned that game, though, because I do remember all of the film that was shown to me leading up to that game was about my matchup and how I was going to get my butt kicked. So days like that, having 3 or 4 days of film thrown in your face of who you're going to guard can also help with that as well.
The one common denominator for both of you guys absolutely is you guys were the vocal leader. Obviously, Willis, your time at the college, and then even Cam, we were talking about it with Coach. Cam, your senior year, 2018, we eventually we're probably going to have 3 NBA guys that played with you on that squad, but you were always the vocal and emotional leader of that squad. Cam, I just want to ask you, what's that like, that pressure of knowing that guys are looking to you, and even though the guy is putting up, 25, 30 points, that when it comes to that leadership and that vocal voice, that always fell on your shoulders?
Well, to be honest with you, it wasn't as much pressure as people would think. Like you said, I played with 3 NBA caliber talented players who are, 2 are in the league, and then 1 is going to be in the league relatively soon. So it wasn't too much pressure because I didn't have the responsibility to go and put up 25 points and grab 10 rebounds. It was my job to work hard and to connect the dots, get big stops, keep the ball moving, score when I had the opportunity. But compared to what those guys were doing, my job was really relatively easy. It was just play with a lot of effort and lead by example. And that came easy to me. So it's not much pressure like people would think. Like I said, I played with some great dudes.
All right, so I got to ask you guys your favorite moment, I guess, as a Cougar. Willis, I'll start out with you. The one picture that I still have in my mind is that North Carolina game where you get the rebound, you kind of have your hands up in the air, you're going to the free throw line to essentially ice the game. Also, Willis, you had that big win at Baylor where they couldn't stop you down the stretch. You were the closer. What was your favorite moment as a Cougar?
It was definitely the win against UNC, for sure. I think growing up, I was the only one who preferred Duke over North Carolina out of my family. So having that text message thread go in my favor was really, really good. But the funny part about that game, and just to keep piggybacking on what we were just talking about, was Ed Davis. I don't know if any of you remember, put down a top 10 poster of the year, what ended up going as a top 10 dunk of the year on my head of that game. But all I care about is the win. So,
well, I mean, think about it, Willis. I mean, you were all of 6'5", 6'6", on a good day, and you were always asked to guard guys that were, bigger or faster, and you never back down. That's always the one thing. And the same thing for you, Cam, that I always just respected, because you guys were always up to the challenge, even though you may have been, outmatched on paper. I always knew we had a fighting chance, with you guys. And I guess, Cam, we found out about Willis's. What was your favorite moment as a Cougar?
And contrary to popular belief, it is not the Northeastern game that we won to go to the NCAA tournament. The best moment in my college career was when we beat Elon for the conference title, because that was my last time playing in TD Arena. So that moment stuck out to me the most. I felt like we had climbed a huge mountain from my freshman year, winning 9 games, to my senior year and winning the conference at TD Arena, where we shed a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I cried my heart out before the game, man, afterward. That was the most emotional I've ever been, knowing that was going to be my last time playing at the arena that I called home for the last 4 years.
Can't beat TD Arena.
I want to talk to both of you guys about brotherhood, or just the word family, because both of you kind of have different perspectives when it comes to this. And I guess I'll start out with you, Willis, because talk about what it was like playing with your brother, Judson, another great guy. Actually walked on at the college. Talk about your experience playing with him at the college.
Well, I don't know who could come up with a better, storyline, which ended up just becoming life, was, getting to play with your own brother. I was just fortunate enough that, my brother, he's unreal as a human being. And I mean, obviously he didn't play like a major minutes role, or he didn't do a lot of things that got him accolades or anything, but he showed up day in and day out, and he worked hard, and he tried to make us all better. And I think it really goes to show the fact that he was able to stick around and was able to, make himself a contributor to the team stands out more than, how happy I was that I got to be with him and play with him. And not to mention just how much everybody else loved him, not only in the locker room, but like around campus. I mean, Judson's he's a walking legend. I mean, we all know this, but it's amazing. And looking back on it, and sometimes it doesn't always hit home, but you go back and you look at team photos, or, we look at moments and stuff that happened, and not too many people get to say they experienced stuff like that with a family member. And I'm just grateful that, that not only he was given the opportunity, but that he did with it what he could, in order that he wasn't just somebody there. He was, he was help.
Cam, for you, the trust that your senior year, I don't think Coach Grant could have drawn it up any better. When I think about, what I always said, our big three of Willard, Shealy, and Brantley, but then guys like yourself and Nick Harris and, Marquise Pointer, all guys that played a huge role. Talk about that bond, because it just seemed like just no matter what, you guys always had each other's back. You held each other accountable. And especially in today's times, you don't normally see that as much, especially at the collegiate level. So talk about that bond that you guys had your senior year.
Our bond, since I've met Joe Cheeley, Marquise Pointer, Jarrell, our bond goes way further than just on the court. It was actually our bond, how much time we spent outside the court when we didn't have to see each other. Is I think what gave us that sense of chemistry, that sense of wanting to win for each other and sacrificing what other teams may perceive as like the glory or the light or the limelight. We didn't have that issue. So, and it was just, they were genuine. They were genuine. I was genuine. And we meshed as people, outside the court. So when you talk about the chemistry and the companionship that we showed, that was just us saying we love each other. So playing this game and trying to win, I want to see my brothers be successful over, whatever I want for myself. And I think Coach Grant did a good job of pushing that agenda. The theme of the team is togetherness, and we kept that going off the court. So it always seemed like, you could just do no wrong. On the court, off the court, we're all for each other. And it happened so naturally. So it was a beautiful thing. Like you said, you can't draw it up any better than that.
So Willis had Judd there at the college as his support. But Cam, for you, you had a different type of family support. Your dad, Mario, and your mom, just about at every game. I still think, I don't think I ever told Coach this, by far my favorite memory of your dad was we went out to Puerto Rico. And I think it was the Dayton fans hired your dad to be one of their fans because of his passion and his energy. Cam, talk about what it was like knowing that whether you were in Charleston and Elon in Puerto Rico, your dad was always there to support you.
Man, it's a beautiful thing. Not every kid has the opportunity for their parents to be so involved in what they feel passionate about, or the availability to be there, even if they are involved. So I'm blessed. It was a beautiful thing. I'm not gonna lie to you; it was embarrassing at times. He definitely makes his presence known. But again, kind of like what Willis said, you don't really appreciate or understand it until you look back and you think about memories and you see the photos and you remember the times where, he's yelling during the starting lineup announcement and Jarrell's nudging me like, "Hey, Cam, that's your dad. Tell him to hype us up. Tell him to hype us up." And it's just those little things, you look back at it and it almost brings tears to your eyes. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, we always hear that word brotherhood, and boy, is this on display here, because Willis Hall, we'll let you start because you were the initial player of these two to make it to the NBA somewhat in an executive role. Willis, before we talk about how you looked out for your brother and got Cam in there with you, tell us about your journey. How did this all come about working for the Spurs?
I got a call from a friend of mine, Tyler Laurie, who worked at the college for a time. And he basically put me in connection with who was me at the time. And I just got very fortunate. I've just been very, very fortunate. I was on about an hour and a half phone call. Then I was on another hour and a half phone call. And then the next thing I know, I was being flown out. And within 2 weeks, I was moving out here, excuse me. And in all honesty, I just got lucky. I don't know if I said anything. I don't know if I did anything. I was just fortunate that they felt like I was somebody who could help contribute. And that's all I was looking for, an opportunity to do, was to help contribute and to help, just help. And I've been fortunate that I've got to learn from some very, very special and talented people in the process.
Now, without getting into too much in depth, Willis,
Mm-hmm.
video coordinator. So kind of give us a little, I guess, description of what you're in charge of and, how your job plays out each and every day.
Well, basically, just like I told Cam when, we were looking to hire some people, was like, this is essentially, your master's in basketball on steroids. And day in and day out, what we do is we do anything and everything we can to help the coaches prepare in order to help our 15, 16, however many guys we're going to have that night prepare to win. And that goes into the smallest little nuances of pick this up, do this, or, scouting reports, video, everything. If you think it up, we do it. We're tackling dummies in practice, and we're managers wiping up sweat. We put referee jerseys on and referee time at times for little drills and things like that. I mean, you name it, we do it. And we're just very fortunate that who we work for allows us to be so involved. And when I say involved, I mean that, we're allowed to witness, really good people doing what they do really well. And they don't hide us and stick us into into the dungeon, except when we have to go get that work done. But there's really I don't have a beautiful answer for you, because literally, and Cam can attest to this, like one day your job is one thing and the next day your job is another. And you just got to be prepared. And you got to be ready and on your toes, and you got to be willing to figure it out as you go and try to do it at a high level.
So Cam, I know you had an opportunity to try out. I think briefly you were with the Hornets and was hoping to get a chance to obviously play, but that didn't work out. So how did you get involved? Did you reach out to Willis? Did Willis recruit you? How did you get involved there in San Antonio?
So now I have to give the extra long answer. And I told this story to Willis when I first got to San Antonio. The first time we ever met, me and Willis. So it's funny how things work, because he was a JYD, his 4 years and with his teammates, and I was a JYD of mine. So it's funny how this worked out. The first time me being in the weight room for a summer workout, he was in there. He's squatting 450 pounds. Willis is an animal. So I'm in there, and I have on some red Georgia shorts. It has a Georgia emblem, and it's football. They don't have football here. I'm thinking it'll be okay. So he beelines it to me, and he's like, giving me an earful about Cougar pride and, how you got to conduct yourself. I'm a young kid. He checked me. Nobody else did. He checked me. He did the right thing. He set the standard of Cougar basketball. And I didn't like it. I was young. I was like, who is he? What's going on? It's my first day. And he came back later on that afternoon, and he put his arm around me, and he was like, man, it wasn't anything personal. I take a lot of pride in College of Charleston basketball. And since you're here, there's a standard you have to be at. And he kind of big brothered me. Didn't know me from whoever. He was on his way out. I was on my way in. And that was the first conversation or interaction I ever had with Willis Hall. And it's funny that 6 years later, when I go through my 4 years and I'm out of college for about a year and a half, he follows college basketball. He follows College of Charleston. And I guess he heard my name floating around. And he reached out to other people who knew me and got their opinion on me. And he reached out to me. I can't tell you what made him do it. I'm glad he did it. But an opportunity came up, and he was in a position to bless.
It certainly wasn't your poor selection in gym shorts.
Right. Hey, that poor selection in gym shorts got my name in his head for the first time. So I think I got extremely lucky that someone like Willis. Again, it's a brotherhood to wear the College of Charleston colors and to be in the city of Charleston with great people. And that's just an example. Like, he could have picked anybody else. There are other people who are well qualified, who have other credentials, and I really think I just got lucky. I was that's why I think it was divine. It was divine intervention that got me to Charleston, and that's why I'm here now. And I'm extremely lucky, extremely blessed.
All right, so Willis, Cam just mentioned you still follow C of C basketball. You're seeing what Coach Grant and the guys are doing these days here at TD Arena. Just your thoughts on being one of the kind of putting Charleston on the map during that kind of rough time, and what the college is doing now in terms of your thoughts about your alma mater.
Well, my answer to me means a lot. It probably won't be the one that grabs headlines, but the thing that I'm most proud of, because obviously, I've got the alerts on my phone. I'm CFC set as my favorites on my ESPN app. So, I'm keeping up with the wins and the losses. But for the most part, when I'm scrolling and looking for information, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that you guys are posting about the stuff that you guys are doing in the community and doing for the people that are not just in the College of Charleston, but, going into the schools and reading to kids and, being a part of different activities that are around town and really involving themselves in the community. And that's the thing that I take the most pride in, because I think I'm not going to get too deep into it, but obviously the NCAA and its way of doing business is taking a lot of hits lately for a whole plethora of different reasons. But the thing that I've taken the most pride in is since Coach Grant has taken over, and that's not to say that it didn't go on when I was there, because it certainly did. I know every coach I played for was, held it at a priority, but Coach Grant is definitely and it shows with Cam too, and the things that he holds important is the fact that, being a well-groomed man, and that's more than, just being a heavy lifter and a sharp shooter. It really means your values and your character and the things that you show that are important to you are more than just superficial things. And I'm most proud that when I look back and I see, guys who are putting on that uniform now are, they care about the community, and they care about the youth in that community, and they care about being a positive factor in that. And I look back on, the coaches and the players that, taught me things at basketball camps. Joby Thomas played at UNCC, set the 3-point record for that college. I remember watching him in high school, and I remember him being my camp counselor. And those little interactions are what made basketball so special for me. And it makes me proud when I see our guys doing that, not just at basketball camps, but, in other avenues as well. Like I just mentioned, reading books to kids. Just letting a kid know that, like, hey, I can get to college. I may not be a basketball player like Cam Johnson or Grant Riller or, Joe Cheeley, but, I could go be a great saxophone player, and I could find an avenue for myself. And just seeing that our guys take being that example and being that in the community is very, very important to me. And it's something that I take a lot of pride in, knowing that that's what's going on and that we're building, well-rounded and positive young men rather than just good basketball players.
Cam, what about you? This past season, some of the guys that you played with still around. Just your thoughts on what happened at the college this past season. And I know probably for you being as competitive as you are, maybe some games where you wanted to kind of put the jersey back on and come up with a crucial stop. But yeah, just
nice.
My thoughts over the past couple of years. Honestly, I've been missing being at the games. I've been missing the energy and the atmosphere. I just kind of been caught up in life that I hear about the College of Charleston here and there, and I know that this past season wasn't as well as as I'd hoped, at least when I left off. But I've missed a lot. I just feel I have a responsibility now to get back more in touch with it. I've been dealing with, having to move to San Antonio and having my first child. So I've missed a lot. I've heard a few things, but
I kept him a little busy, Everett. Kept him a little busy.
Yeah. Been really busy. So I really can't speak on it too much. But I know as long as Coach Grant is there, it can always get better, and it's going to get better. So I always have high hopes.
Willis, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you come back and you just finished your master's at the college?
I finished it last spring, so it would have been right around this time last year.
So actually being back on campus, and obviously good to come back. And both of you obviously know Marlene Nabor, so I'm sure if she could ask for anything, we got to make sure you guys go forward when you play the Jazz or when you play the Hornets or wherever Grant ends up. Maybe y'all guys need to get like a Cougar picture together that y'all can send back to her, so that way she can promote, because we're so proud of you guys and just the man that you were, on the floor, off the floor, just the way you carried yourselves. And I know, Coach, and I'll let you speak. I don't need to speak for you, but I know, Cam, you and that bunch hanging around with Coach just meant the world to him, because it really kind of got us to where we are now, and just having that faith in him. And Coach, I'll let you just, send out your appreciation to Cam and really Willis, because I think you guys are still big ambassadors for the college.
Yeah, I mean, when we spoke with Gulak the other day, things I told him is, I've been watching College of Charleston basketball since 1992. I worked John Press camps in 99. And so when they beat North Carolina, I was working at Wichita State. My wife is an alum of CFC. And so she made sure I was watching that game. And so when they won the game in Charleston against the Tar Heels, celebrated, I was in Kansas celebrating too. And so, watching Willis in high school and just seeing the spirit that he have, going back and seeing clips from the Davidson game, when they won a big game, I think he had 30 points and 20 rebounds, and then we beat Davidson. So it was – I had some pride coming in the door about College of Charleston. And then Cam, we talked about Cam and that group, what they did, Joe Cheeley, Evan Bailey, you throw in Jarrell Brantley, Nick Harris, and Grant. And Marquise. I could go on and on with that team. John Eck didn't play, but he was in the mix. He was committed. Max was a manager for us. So it was a special group of guys that just were committed to the cause, that bought into what we wanted to try to get done. And it was just a beautiful thing to see us climb up the hill to the top of the mountain and having a chance to get to the NCAA tournament and the NIT. But we're not done. We got to continue to build. I think as you sit on this call and you listen to Willis talk and you listen to Cam talk, it's about the men to put on that jersey. And it takes guys with the right hearts. It takes guys with the right spirit, the right toughness, just listening to them in their time at the College of Charleston, talking about values and talking about the community. That's the type of guy you have to win. The selfless guy, the guy that has some humility, and a guy that's willing to roll his sleeves up and work. So I'm really proud of what they're doing, Willis and Cam. Cam is like my son. Willis, we stay in touch, and I'm really proud of what he's doing. I think it's amazing that they get an opportunity to be with the Spurs organization and learn from one of my favorite coaches, somebody I really admire. So it's just a beautiful thing, and I'm really excited to see them guys continue to grow and develop in this profession, because I think both of their futures are very bright.
Willis, you've been breaking down NBA players for some time in your role. Cam, you're slowly but surely getting there. But Cam, you played obviously with Grant Riller. Willis, if you had some advice for Grant, since you're around NBA players all the time, you watch them on film. I'm not sure if you got a chance to see Grant and his game, so forth and so on. But what would be your advice to Grant Riller as he gets ready to enter the NBA here in August?
That's all you, buddy.
We'll let Cam go first since Cam played with it, and we'll follow it up.
Honestly, I would just tell Grant, don't be afraid to be great. He's a great talent. He can do things on the court that a lot of people can't do. He's just been blessed with that. And I would just tell him, don't be afraid. You deserve it. You're there for a reason. And I would just tell him to give it all he got. Nothing that he doesn't already know. It's no special formula. It's no special secret. But Grant Riller being a very special player, I would just tell him to go and give it all he has, and don't be afraid to succeed, because you're going to be successful. Don't think that you're lesser or that you're not as good or as talented. Just go out there and give it all you got. Nothing that anybody else can't tell him, because it's not a secret. He deserves to be in the highest league because he is a high caliber player. He will have to figure out some pitfalls here and there. I mean, it's part of the game. It's part of being a rookie. It's part of being young and inexperienced. But I would just tell him to just give it all he got. And when you get there, don't be surprised. Keep going. Keep working hard.
Willis?
Just find a way to contribute, and if you can find a way to do that, that gives them no reason not to give you a chance. And like Cam said, there's going to be little opportunities where, you get a shot to show what you got. Don't be afraid to succeed. Don't be afraid to take your shot. And if you can find a way to contribute and take advantage of your opportunity, sky's the limit.
All right, now, I don't know if you guys heard or not, but Coach was able to get North Carolina back on the schedule. We'll be in Chapel Hill this year, and they'll come to TD Arena next year. Coach, I don't think we have a 53 or a 12 on the roster. Do you think we can get a couple of jerseys, slide these two in when we play the Tar Heels?
I don't know if they'll allow us to do that. That would be a coach's dream come true for me. I mean, make me sleep well at night if I could do that. But maybe we can get some replicas and give it to the students.
I don't know, Coach. I don't know if you want me on the floor any longer. These knees and back, they don't move like they used to.
Well, I don't know necessarily if I need you guys on the floor as you go. I need your spirit in the building. You know what I mean? I need your spirit in the building. I think that'll be enough.
Soften the blow. Thanks.
Yeah, that'll be enough. I'll take your spirit.
I know it's big in the NFL. Those guys like to probably wear their college teams and gear and so forth and so on. The NFL, is it the same in the NBA? Do we need to get you guys some more CSC basketball gear to wear around San Antonio?
Willis?
Hey man, I'm just happy to be on the call. But hey, you send a shirt my way, I'll throw that thing on.
Well, I'm sure Marlene has y'all's address. So, Coach, we'll get them guys some shirts out there so y'all can proudly, show that.
Oh no, Coach Powell took care of me. I got a shirt or two.
Okay,
I'll send a shout out to Coach Powell. I got a couple shirts. I forgot about that.
All right, because Coach just got somebody from Houston, so Coach his recruiting area is widening day by day. So we need as many people with CSC gear out there in Texas as we possibly can get.
I heard that.
That sounds good. Well, Cam, Willis, man, it's been fun catching up with you guys. We greatly appreciate it. Again, just proud of what you guys are doing now. And obviously proud of when you were at the College of Charleston. Just thank you and just continue just making us proud and living y'all's dreams. There's a lot of people that would love to be in y'all's shoes and just keep up the good work. And Coach, you got anything else you want to add to these two?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is. Yeah, the only thing I would add is just, this being my 20th year in the profession, man, and coaching, just I don't know if you guys really realize the opportunity you have right now as young coaches and having a chance to learn it on that level from who you learning the information from. I would just say suck it all in, man. Continue to work hard, be loyal, continue to network because, again, this is my 20th year and none of the moves I never saw them coming. By the grace of God, I was very fortunate to just move and get with good people. And, and 20 years later, here I am. So just thinking about the profession and thinking about where you guys are now, man, the sky is the limit for you, for both of you. And I just wish you the best of luck. If there's ever anything we can do here in Charleston for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And just keep up the good work. I'm very proud and I'm very humbled to have you guys just a part, me being a small part of what you guys have built and y'all having so much pride in the program.
Hey, real fast, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Melissa, Cam, y'all probably can answer. Didn't Eric Spoelstra start out like a video guy?
Yes.
With the Miami Heat. Okay, that's why I thought he started as a video coordinator. So, who knows, man? Maybe 10, 15 years you guys could be running your own NBA team as NBA coaches, and just know if you need a radio guy, I come cheap. Right? Just it's a package. I come cheap. Just give me some gear.
Here comes the plug.
Exactly. So just throw that out there once y'all get to be big time. But again, Cam, Willis, man, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys. Thanks for thinking of us.
Absolutely. It's nothing but love. Nothing but
absolutely.
Good
to see y'all, man. Good hanging out with you guys.
You too.
That's Willis Hall and Cam Johnson, of course, the head coach of the Cougars, Earl Grant, joining us here on Hang Time with the Cougars. So thanks for watching this edition. On our next edition, well, we're going to talk to NBA players as we'll catch up with the captain, Joe Chile, also and child himself, JB Jarrell Brantley. So that'll be coming up on our next edition of Hang Time with the Cougars. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.